Yeah, welcome back. It's Wild West Women Wednesday, and it's 4th of July Eve, everyone. So get your shot glasses ready and start the party today like we are here on Liquid Lunch. And it's always a party when Jen Kerns joins us. She's been on many times. Our audience knows her well. Jen's a Republican strategist, former spokesperson for the California Republican Party, speechwriter for the Fox News debates in the 2016 election. Jen, thank you for coming back to us again.
You're welcome.
So good. So good.
I like the Wild West thing. I'm from California and Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that suits
we're going to
me.
have Drew Taylor. He's a crypto cowboy. And
Nice.
we're going to have the Wild West crypto show a little later on. And on the 4th of July, you know what the big attraction is here at Coney Island? It's the big hot dog eating contest, and we're going to tell you all about that and more. Frank Morano joins me again. And Jen, as you know, on Wednesday we try to hear the woman's point of view and give a louder voice than we do regularly. A lot of things are going on out there, but the one thing, you know, with this social media and this censorship, and like Trump made his presidency off social media, really.
Yeah.
And you think that's part of the point here, that they don't want individuals to have that power to talk to the masses?
Yeah, definitely. I can tell you one of my clients is the attorney taking on Google and Twitter and big tech, and she's having some great success doing so. A judge just ruled a couple of weeks ago in California that Google has to go through the discovery process, which they were fighting tooth and nail. So conservatives actually now are going to be able to look under the hood of some of these big tech companies and see what their hiring practices are. You know, a lot of these people that are deplatforming, people like Laura Loomer and myself, I haven't been totally deplatformed, but I've been blocked a number of times. Roger Stone, the list goes on and on. These guys are young, punk, far left, one step shy of Antifa, I would say, working inside the bowels of these big tech organizations. And boy, Google doesn't want to go down this road. Twitter and these guys don't want to go down this road, but they may have to now that they have Congress kind of sniffing around. And it's going to be really interesting to watch it play out.
And, you know, aside from the issue of political bias, which, you know, people like you and everyone else that John just mentioned have demonstrated pretty significant evidence of, they sell your data for profit without your permission. So you're giving them all this data, and then it's not encrypted, and then they sell this and pass it on to private sector companies. It's a tremendous violation of privacy. You really wonder, are these the very kind of people that we want running a cryptocurrency now? My vote is probably not. But I know you usually come on to talk about politics, Jen, but I want to ask you about a cultural issue that has really transfixed the whole nation, and that's the issue of Nike and the Betsy Ross sneakers. Now, apparently, they were going to have these sneakers with Betsy Ross and the 13 stars that were originally on the flag. Now, you could talk about non-controversial. Apparently, they're not going forward with that because Colin Kaepernick was upset with it. Is that accurate, and what's your reaction to it?
That is accurate. It's also accurate that Colin Kaepernick is a loser, and I'm not saying that because of his color or his gender. He literally, I'm from San Francisco, he literally was the worst football player of all time out there. So, you know, walking in the shadow of Joe Montana and all these guys. But look, what Nike did is an affront, actually, to women everywhere, you know, by criticizing and defaming somebody like Betsy Ross, who actually was, if you look at her record, if you actually look at her record, she was a pioneering feminist.
That's right.
She was a pioneering feminist. Here's a woman in the 18th century who was a mother, a devoted military wife. She was a businesswoman. She was an entrepreneur. She was friends with George Washington, who later became president. And the list goes on and on and on. This is a woman who lost 2 children of her 6 children. She took in nieces and nephews when their parents died. She took in neighbors. She took care of the community. And they want to say that this woman was somehow loved the 13 stars because it represented, you know, the 13 original colonies and slavery.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and it's offensive to women. It shows that Nike actually values the opinion of a former NFL player, his testosterone-laden opinion over the opinion of women. And because this is a financial show, I'll tell you, I think Nike's foolish for doing this.
I've been talking about this for months on our Sunday show, What's the Deal? And our slogan is the show that doesn't kneel. Okay, because when you see the flag, you stand at attention, you put your hand on your heart, you take your hat off. You don't kneel, okay? And if you ask me, I'm living the three-stripe life now. I'm buying Adidas and Under Armour. And women, I worked as a consultant to Overstock.com, one of the biggest e-commerce companies for years. And women are the people who spend money. Phil Knight.
In fact, women.
Colin Kaepernick is not the CEO of Nike. And if he is, all the women out there should start buying Adidas and Under Armour and everything else. And all you traders out there, if you ask me, start shorting Nike. Because I'm short Nike and I'd be short Nike.
In fact, women by the end of this decade are going to represent 2/3 of all of the U.S. consuming economy. Right now, they spend somewhere between $5 trillion and $15 trillion. And a lot of that is going towards sneakers for their kids. Women are the decision makers, just like they are on healthcare and a number of issues. And by the way, this is why I don't wear sneakers. I always wear stilettos.
Oh,
Ivanka
she's got
Trump.
her shoes off already, this one. We didn't even have a drink yet. What are you doing, Jen?
But, you know, it's funny. This is one of the reasons I've said for years that these apparel companies should look more towards competitive eaters, especially female competitive eaters like Michelle Lesko, who's coming up in just a few minutes, as spokespeople instead of washed-up quarterbacks like Colin Kaepernick. But very quickly, Jen, I want to ask you, tomorrow the president has arranged this big 4th of July parade in Washington, D.C. There's a lot of unhappiness with the fact that tanks are included. Even some members of the military have been somewhat critical. What's your reaction to this whole parade situation and the controversy over the tanks, which the critics claim are going to tear up the streets of D.C.?
Well, look, I'm shocked that any far-left Democrat, especially today's modern-day Democratic Party, even celebrates the 4th of July. They don't believe in freedom, except when it comes to radical abortion issues. They really don't support freedom of choice, except for that one issue. And number two, if you look at the debate the other night, all 10 of the 10 leading candidates raised their hand for socialized health care and open borders. They want to be European. So this holiday is really a conflict for them. But back to Trump, he said he was going to do this last year. He's finally getting his wish. And you know what? He's allowed to do it. He's the first president to hold an address on the National Mall since Dwight D. Eisenhower, but Eisenhower did it. Abraham Lincoln gave an address from the second story of the White House around the 4th of July. President Trump is in his right to do it, and he's the commander-in-chief. And personally, I hope they play a little Metallica as they come out. That would be beautiful.
What'd you bring for us, Jen?
A little 4th of July glow-in-the-dark sticks.
Oh, we got some glow sticks, and we're going to whip. Beautiful.